Hell's Kitchen has outdone itself when it comes to rewarding the winning contestants. They've gotten free trips to Vegas, sailed the high seas on luxurious yachts, and a lot more. But there have been some rewards that were totally awful. Like this one right here, when the red team got the opportunity to do something pretty plain. I wonder if the producers just ran out of ideas and lazily plopped this reward in there. I mean, they totally nailed the Pizza Fusion challenge that was featured in the 6th episode of season 17. So why in the world was the reward so dry? If you ask me, I think this challenge had a really interesting take on it. Both teams got to play with different flavors as they went head to head against each other to create their own pizza. The catch here was for the contestants to use ingredients from different countries to make a really flavorful pizza. The best part was that Chef Ramsay even let them choose who they wanted to go against. After both contestants went neck to neck, when it was finally time to judge the pizzas, it was Michelle Tribble who clinched the victory for the red team. While the girls rejoiced and headed out, they received a reward that I would honestly pass on. When Chef Ramsay announced what they would be getting, it sounded quite interesting when he first started.
Members only, Hollywood's Magic Castle.
What he meant was that the red team could ride a double-decker bus around Hollywood and finish off with a quick pit stop at the Hollywood Magic Castle. The girls wasted no time to hit the dorms and made sure to wear the best outfits that they could find. Elise Harris was so excited that she became the talk of the entire team.
Look at you, you look like a star with your sparkling dress on.
Sure enough, all of them were bursting with excitement. But for what exactly? A scorching ride under the blazing hot sun? Okay, so I do get this was probably the first time in LA for some of these contestants, but where was the usual exciting reward we were so used to? Considering it was a pizza challenge, I was here expecting something like a visit to LA's most popular pizza restaurant. Or maybe a nice Italian lunch or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure that's what the girls would have expected as well. Because all you need after a long tiring day of working your ass off at Hell's Kitchen is just to chill out and relax. They definitely didn't deserve to get baked under the hot sun. Soon enough, the energy died down and you could almost feel the disappointment in their voices as they drove past some of the most iconic landmarks in the City of Angels. I mean, just listen to this.
Dolby Theater, that's where the Oscars are.
Oh, that's cool.
Look guys, it's the El Capitan.
Now, someone please try to convince me that they sound excited here. Because that's not what excitement sounds like to me. After driving around the Hollywood Boulevard, what followed next was this.
Hi.
You guys ready for some magic?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, my name's Joel Ward. I'm super excited to be here.
A magic show? Seriously? I mean, did the producers forget that these were actual seasoned chefs and not middle schoolers? As a part of the show, the magician picked out Elise for a disappearing act and poof, in seconds, her wedding ring was gone. And I don't know about the others, but Elise was done. You could almost feel her frustration when she said this.
Where's my ring? I'm over this whole magic show. I just want my ring back.
Elise, I totally feel the same way. If you ask me, the only good thing about the entire outing was seeing the red team together as one. For once, they actually weren't pulling each other's hair out. But that's not to say that the red team didn't enjoy seeing Elise being tormented.
This is the best day of my life. I like seeing Elise panic.
And wait, before I forget, did they even get to eat anything? Because, well, I didn't see any food anywhere. Now, don't tell me all they got was hot dogs and popcorn because that's simply unacceptable. In one Reddit post about the rewards on Hell's Kitchen, one user mentioned how awkward this reward was. They had to go through an entire day trying to avoid getting knocked out by pizza pans, and in the end, all they got was a bus ride. I think these girls definitely deserve better. But this next reward should have made the winning team feel like movie stars, but it was nothing like you'd imagine. To make things worse, one of the contestants wasted an advantage which he could have easily used for a better reward. I'm referring to the time from season 18 when the rookies defeated the veterans in the Marine Service Challenge. During this challenge, both teams had to serve food with dishes that represented air, sea, and land. Quite a unique concept, right? The rules were pretty simple. The team who finished the tickets first won the challenge. While both teams made several mistakes, the veterans were the very worst. What happened is, during the final ticket, Ariel Contreras' cold steak made the veterans lose. But honestly, the loss was way more of a team effort since the entire team was screwing up. They were so bad that it made Chef Ramsay extremely furious.
No man left behind?
Yes, chef.
You left your brains behind.
As the rookies clinched their second victory, they were rewarded with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do this.
To be starring in your own film.
The rookies looked very excited about the reward, but honestly, after a grueling challenge, all they got was a fake film experience. Maybe a day at the spa would have been way better than this. And if you ask me, I totally side with Jen Gavin when she said this.
I'd love to, Chef, but I feel like I'm in a movie right now, unfortunately.
That's straight up facts. What's better than being featured on Hell's Kitchen? If this wasn't enough, Brett used his punishment pass for another major letdown when he did this.
Take the pass out, head to the dorms, off you go.
Why couldn't he wait for a better reward? Heather felt the same way too, but it was Brett's call anyway. And what was the reason behind his decision? You have to listen to this.
Because we ain't gonna lose again.
So you're going to Malibu?
Sure.
I think Brett had absolutely no faith in the blue team. But sadly, it doesn't look like his strategy worked because during the next day's challenge, the veterans lost yet again. And one of the main reasons for the loss was Brett himself. He not only made an unimpressive dish, but he also used canned tomatoes in his soup. Canned food at this point in the competition? What was he thinking? Brett could have easily used his advantage in this round because the reward was way better than this.
Quiet on the set.
Okay, and action.
And it's not just me. Several Redditors thought that Brett's decision was downright stupid. However, there was also this one user who thought that Brett didn't know how long he would last, so he wanted to use the pass while he still could. But this next reward caused an accident for a frontrunner, which led to a drastic drop in this contestant's performance. This time, it was the first Black Jacket reward, and the final 5 were challenged with creativity. Each of them had to create a dish using ingredients from different cities. But here's the thing, the ingredients weren't really presented to them. They were actually stored in suitcases, and each of them had to pick a flight number to reach their surprise destination.
And a great chef should be able to do something magical with ingredients from anywhere around the globe.
In this challenge, the contestants had 45 minutes to cook a delicious dish that could impress the judges.
Cheyenne, I gotta give it to you. This is delicious.
After a tough decision, Cheyenne took the throne and won the challenge. For this amazing win, she was rewarded with a road trip through the Los Angeles canyons. Cheyenne was thrilled about the whole experience, but she had no idea what was coming for her. As a little perk, Cheyenne could choose one other contestant to share the fun with, and she went with Summer.
This ride sounds kind of VIP. I think I have to take my girl Summer. She is also VIP.
As both of them were excited to hit the road, they had another surprise waiting for them at the dorm.
Get out of here!
I think this is the part that excited them even more than the off-road experience. If you ask me, knowing that they had a service in the evening, a reward for calming their nerves would have been a much better idea. During the reward, Cheyenne was the first one to hit the paddle. Summer, who was a little bit nervous despite her love for extreme machines, hit the paddle with a hint of anxiety as well. However, she drove way too fast and something shocking happened. Fortunately, both of them seemed okay, but were they really okay? Well, Cheyenne got eliminated in the following service. And it wasn't because of her poor skill set, but rather because of the tailspin they had earlier. When she did a Reddit AMA, one fan asked her if the accident hindered her performance, and Cheyenne took the opportunity to spill the beans. She said how she was shaken up for the entire day after the fall, and that she even had a huge bruise on her stomach where she was hanging from her seatbelt. But that wasn't the only thing hurting. In addition to being tossed down, the stress of the dinner service got to her, and she ended up having a bad headache. In her own words, referring to the useless reward, Cheyenne said it threw her entire day off for sure. Although the medic checked and declared that they were okay, clearly Cheyenne was not. If not for the horrible outcome of this reward, would Cheyenne have lasted longer in the competition? I think she definitely would have with her talent. But this next contestant was extremely disappointed with the reward. Especially since it should have ideally been special, considering it came after a long series of exhausting punishments. Now, you may like him or hate him, but Ralph Pagano was the only contestant who presented a dessert worthy of a reward in the 9th episode of Season 1. It was the perfect souffle challenge, and as the name goes, it was truly a challenge to perfect a souffle. Although it hardly takes any time, it's pretty easy to screw up this delicious dessert. The real challenge in the entire process is baking the souffle to perfection. The rise is probably the most important part of the process.
Lightly sprinkle with the sugar. There you go. Stiff peak.
After a quick demonstration from Chef Ramsay, the final 3 had 10 minutes to make an extremely unique souffle. When it was time for the results, Ralph was the only one to impress Chef Ramsay.
Hazelnut, chocolate. Nice flavor.
Finally, after a series of punishments, Ralph was happy to enjoy himself and was eagerly looking forward to the reward. But when Chef Ramsay announced the reward, Ralph was extremely disappointed. Now, what could have been that upsetting? Well, listen to this yourselves.
You get to choose between beef, chicken and tuna that's going on the menu this evening.
Was this a joke or something? I mean, after perfecting a dessert which is so hard to perfect, all Ralph got to do was choose a meat for the following service? How is that even a reward? I mean, let's go back to Ralph's reaction for a bit when he said this.
I didn't get to go in a helicopter. I didn't get to go out to eat. I got to choose beef, chicken, or fish.
If you ask me, his disappointment was totally valid. Imagine working your ass off for so long, and when you finally get a reward, it's the option to choose a protein. That's what happens in MasterChef, by the way. But I kinda think Ralph deserved this reward after what he did to Elsie Ramos in the previous service. If I remember right, Ralph was the one who sketched the plan to not help her in the previous service. And since none of the contestants stepped in to help her out, Elsie was eliminated on the very same night. But why did Ralph hate her so much? Well, that was only out of jealousy. Remember how Ralph and Jessica Cabo actually came up to taste Elsie's dish? They couldn't believe that a dish that looked so unappealing could actually taste better than any of their high-end dishes. However, one Reddit user, who was probably Ralph's fan, felt that the show did him dirty with this trivial reward. Well, I guess that's what you get for targeting someone as pure-hearted as Elsie. But this next reward from season 20 turned out to be quite hilarious. Now, this blind taste test challenge was like no other. With almost all the chefs giving wrong answers, Megan Gale and Emily Hirsch emerged as the saving grace for the blue team. And well, they eventually clinched the victory as well. Excited about the win, the blue team was rewarded with a party bus to the Brooklyn Bowling Alley. Remember how Steve Glenn and Bryn Gibson won a punishment pass for presenting a scrumptious dish to Chef Ramsay?
And Steve, with great power comes great responsibility.
While Steve had used his pass on Bryn and taken her chance to have a fun time on a private jet, this time Bryn used hers on Steve, knowing how much he loved the bowling alley.
Steve said he loved to bowl, so unfortunately he cannot today.
And as much as it looked like they had fun, I'm sure they would have preferred to get a good rest. On top of that, the lunch they received was packed. Not at a restaurant or a cafe or something like that. What happened to all the nice rewards like a stay vacation, a nice massage therapy, or even a wine tour? What's more, they went bowling with Marino Monforado, the maître d' of Hell's Kitchen. And this is the reason why.
Wow!
I knew it. I knew he was good.
One Reddit user felt like bowling as a reward was pretty boring. I mean, since when did bowling become a reward, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love bowling, but I could do that on my own. There was a time when Hell's Kitchen had some crazy rewards. I mean, rewards that actually felt like a reward. From helicopter rides to casinos and much more. But with every season, it looks like the rewards were taking a hit. In fact, a Reddit post was made about how the rewards were becoming boring and lame as the show progressed. In one post, Alex Ballou, a contestant from season 21, commented that the reason behind all those disastrous rewards was because of the pandemic that swept across the entire world. That kinda makes sense why season 21 was pretty flat, but what about all the other ones that were filmed before that? You just can't deny that sometimes the punishments were even funner than the rewards. But in this next reward, one of the contestants couldn't even take part in it. It was the first team challenge of season 5, and it was designed in such a way to test the contestants' skills. The scallops cleaning challenge was way more complicated than you might think. Both teams had 15 minutes to clean as many scallops as they could. And well, because the red team had one extra member, Andrea Heinley was asked to sit out by Chef Ramsay. While she got to see everyone struggle to clean the scallops, she had no idea what would happen to her. After a lot of struggle, the challenge came to an end, and out of everyone, Giovanni Filippone was the one who cleaned the most scallops. He got 13 scallops in total. But who won the challenge? Well, it was the blue team.
We're pumped! Nice job.
The blue team was rewarded with a helicopter ride to Catalina Island and then a submarine trip after arriving at the island. While everyone was excited to get going, Chef Ramsay called Robert Hesse to give him some bad news.
Unfortunately, you weigh
about 400.
About 400, so there's no way you're gonna be traveling with us.
Didn't the producers already know that Robert was overweight? Shouldn't they have chosen a different reward for him as well? How is this even fair? Anyway, while Robert enjoyed the ferry trip, the rest of the blue team enjoyed the submarine ride.
Whoa, great, no?
Those fish down there, they're coming after us.
While the entire team could experience something as extraordinary as a submarine ride, Robert was completely left out of the reward. Honestly, that's extremely sad. Even Chef Ramsay felt bad that he missed out on this unique opportunity. Couldn't they have thought of any other reward which all the contestants could enjoy together? After all, it was a team effort, right? They were so unfair to Robert that he couldn't even hide his disappointment.
You're turning around, we're all going back? Yes? Okay.
A Reddit user found Robert taking the ferry ride as the worst reward ever. On the other hand, while one user said that they felt bad for Robert, they also said that nothing could have been done since he was already obese. But that's not the point, right? He did contribute to the win, and nobody was concerned about his weight then. So the only reason why I would include this as the worst possible reward is that it was simply unfair, and not acceptable coming from a platform that preaches unbiased treatment of all contestants. So these were some of the worst rewards on Hell's Kitchen. Before you head out, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. Also, if you want to see something even crazier, check out my latest video right here.